More than 40% of engineering students decide to pull the plug and drop out in their first year. But for the most part, this is completely avoidable. I've been through the trenches of engineering myself and have seen all types of dropouts, and admittedly came pretty close to it myself. So today we're going to examine exactly where I and many other students go wrong when navigating an engineering degree, and give you the secrets to not only making it over that 40% hump, but also rising to the top percentile of the class, which will set you up with a prosperous career for the rest of your life. So let's get right into it. I'm Engineer Joe. Welcome to Engineering Insiders. Engineering is like learning to ride a bike. Before you understand how it works, you're super excited to gain the new skills, but are also terrified of what happens if you fail. Today's video acts as training wheels and the layout to every twist and turn on the path ahead, so that you know exactly how to avoid each obstacle and can peel out into the career market in no time. Now, I have to say, of course, some students have to drop out for financial, family, or mental or physical health reasons, and in those cases, there's not really much you can do. But in the vast majority of cases, students fall short simply because of misaligned expectations, either in the degree or in themselves. And I was one of these misaligned students. So let's examine my engineering university mistakes so that you know exactly what not to do. I started out my freshman year as a starry-eyed 18-year-old ready to take on the world and become an electrical engineer. Of course, having no real idea what that meant or what was ahead of me. I worked through my college classes with the same habits from my high school ones, just coasting through them, paying just as much attention to school as I did my Xbox and new friends. This resulted in first year grades of 2 A's, 2 B's, and 2 C's in my engineering related classes. Not so bad, right? Yeah, but also not so good. You see, in engineering, the content in each class builds up on the last one. So as classes started to ramp up, I found that my lackadaisical approach left me playing catch up, continually going back to relearn old concepts and therefore falling behind on new ones. You see, for some reason, I just expected each course to be a standalone class and that a medium amount of effort would get me through it. But obviously this is not sustainable, and anyways, at graduation, who wants to hire the student who kind of cares? The answer, not many employers. So in other words, I was in both boats. Misaligned expectations in myself and in the degree. Yep, young engineer Joe was just destined for mediocrity, and if this continued, probably even dropping out as courses compounded more and more until it just got to be too much. But thankfully, I had a saving grace. This saving grace taught me all the best hacks to engineering courses, and I genuinely don't think I'd be here talking to you right now if they didn't save me. But it wasn't some professor, pressure from my parents, or a sudden epiphany from an apple falling on my head. My saving grace was a group of friends. But this wasn't just any group of people that I found on the street. Oh no, this was a focused and motivated group that took engineering seriously, but also had a lot of fun working together. They took every lecture, assignment, and quiz seriously and naturally had fantastic grades and, more importantly, great retention of the material. I quickly worked to adopt their habits, going through homework assignments, studying, and attending tutor sessions all as a group with them. I didn't know it at the time, but knotting the engineering work with social ties moved the weight, stress, and struggles of each little engineering assignment from my shoulders to the group's, making everything way more approachable, easier, and honestly more fun too. For example, when I didn't study enough at home, my team had to get me up to speed so we could move on together. And taking up more of their study time to catch my lazy butt up absolutely felt like I was letting them down. For me, this was a huge motivator to become a better student, and I could not recommend it more. You will not get through your engineering degree alone, period. And even if you could, you'd be turning a tough problem into a near impossible one by trying to take it on yourself. Anyways, this positive momentum led me to become a physics tutor alongside these friends, my first big extracurricular step. And that carried into tutoring for 6 or so engineering courses, becoming a lab technician for my professor's research, and eventually becoming president of my school's satellite academic club. So before I can share the secret sauce behind these achievements, we need to take a step back and realize that if I kept the strategies of my first year, I probably would have never became a tutor, lab technician, or joined the academic club at all, and likely would have failed the latter engineering classes that build on previous ones. But real quick, in case those circuits stood out to you, I just might have a topic that interests you. Many forget that the circuits like this one that I made to the ones powering all of modern technology, including the screen you're looking at right now, are only possible because of companies like ASM, the sponsor of this part of today's video. In my courses, we explored how to design electrical circuit boards, which serve as vital pathways for electrical signals, doing everything from simply amplifying a signal to displaying Mario kick some mushroom butt on your Nintendo Switch. But real-world circuits, like those in the Nintendo Switch, new Teslas, or even throughout the James Webb Telescope, are much more modern and, well, tiny than the ones I've designed. Now, this is where ASM comes in. They've been a leader in manufacturing wafer processing equipment for these circuits for decades, with literally thousands of patents to back them up. But more specifically, they sell this equipment to many industry leaders in the integrated circuit sector. So as ASM continues their profound impact on the world, they're branching out and want to share their journey with you. And I hear they have some job opportunities too. So make sure to go check out their website in the description below to explore the fascinating world of innovation and discover how ASM's groundbreaking work is shaping the future of technology. But anyways, we gotta get back to my downfalls as an early engineer. Now, if I could go back, I would slap the younger version of myself and tell him that he's taking on a ton of student loans for the starter kit to a lifelong career. And with each half-tried class, building up a house of cards rather than one of concrete. So please save yourself now before it's too late. Whether you're entering engineering, another hard field, or are already amidst the chaos, you're not going to want to miss this. The moment that you graduate, you're going to wish you had a binder full of cheat sheets from each important class, tangible lab and internship experience, and very solid understandings of the basic theories in your field. Take it from someone who just got out of the third long round of interviews and is speaking from experience. Work smarter, not harder, and set yourself up for sustained success. Now, that sounds fine and dandy, but how do you actually accomplish that? Well, this video we posted on winning study habits is a great start, but we want to give you a little more insight today. Here are the 4 best methods for working smarter, not harder, through your engineering degree. And the first is your group of friends. Now, I won't spend too long here because I already listed the benefits, but I have to repeat it because having a group of engineering buddies makes your life so much easier. And besides actively trying really hard, it is probably my #1 piece of advice for you achieving sustained success in your engineering degree. Now on to the second method, staying ahead of the curve. If you're like me and most other normal humans, engineering doesn't come easy. Inevitably, courses speed by way too fast, and sometimes you have 2 or 3 of them zooming by at the same time. So get ahead of the curve. Reach out to your professors and past students and ask for the textbooks and the best concepts to study ahead of time and start getting after it. If this sounds a little archaic, don't worry, we have a more modern solution as well. You'll start by identifying those same core concepts of your course ahead, and then intently watching and taking notes from quality YouTube videos on those concepts. Your goal is to really try to understand them, because in most engineering classes, the entire course builds from 1 or 2 main concepts that you learn in the first few weeks. So you'll be happy you hammered them home early. Now, I can't overstate that enough. Every single engineering interview I've been in tests the basics of the field more than anything else. So for success in your course and later in interviews, please try staying ahead of the curve. And the third method builds right off of that, cheat sheets. I'm telling you right now, I 100% regret not making and saving cheat sheets from every college course. It would be so helpful in my day-to-day job and every time I'm preparing for interviews. This cheat sheet is 1 or 2 pieces of paper that are basically the spark notes of the entire course. It has the most important concepts, formulas, and methods for a course written by you for you. Now, it doesn't matter if you develop it week by week or complete it all at the end, but do make sure to do it before the final. Because making this forces you to revisit all the topics from the course, which identifies weak spots in your knowledge and brings them up to speed so that you can concisely summarize them on your sheet and then perform well on your final. Oh, and bonus points if you do the same thing annotating and saving your textbooks. Now, this final method is only for those that really want to reach their maximum potential in engineering. All the methods so far will probably leave you successful, but this last method is how you go from normal success to the Apple, Tesla, SpaceX, and NASA engineer levels of success. I call the method missing nothing. Now, to be honest, I only applied this to those really important classes. For me, that was Intro to Circuits, Analog Electronics, and others that I know I'd use for the rest of my life. But feel free to use it on any and every course if you like. Now, the key to missing nothing is simple. It's right in the name. You miss nothing or near to nothing in a course. You achieve this by attending every lecture, every tutor session, reading every book chapter, and finishing every problem on the labs and assignments. This not only maximizes how much you learn from the class, but also ensures that you know just as much or more as anyone else in your course. Because remember, in engineering, everything always comes down to a curve at the end. But don't get me wrong, this is not only about attending and completing everything in your class. It's about understanding everything. Personally, I used to not know the difference. I'd read the book chapters, but without stopping and investigating when I didn't understand something, and then highlighting and annotating so I remember later, I really wouldn't learn that much. And if you need further convincing, just listen to this. I remember this one tutor session where our tutor actually brought out and shared his old test with us just for the upcoming exam to have very similar questions. If I hadn't gone to every single tutor session that quarter, I could have missed out on this one single opportunity where a short 1 hour of my time yielded probably an entire letter grade or more increase to my final grade. So if you really want to reach your maximum potential with both your GPA and real life skills leaving the degree, try missing nothing. And make sure to come back to this video and let us know if it worked for you like it did for me. Anyways, if you want to know even more about the study habits of the top 1% of students, check out this video to unearth their secrets. Thanks for watching and happy engineering, everybody.